The brutal truth about your comfort zone. Think about that for a second. Like, if I told you that the very thing you're clinging to, the place you call your comfort zone, is actually the biggest barrier standing between you and your success mindset. Yeah, I know it feels safe, warm, even like a security blanket. And here's the catch. Your comfort zone is a prison disguised as a sanctuary. And the worst part is, it's designed to keep you stuck, frozen, afraid to change. Afraid to change. You see, most people don't really want to change their lives because change demands discomfort. And the truth is, human beings are wired to avoid pain more than they seek pleasure. It's called loss aversion, the fear of losing what you already have keeps us glued to habits, relationships, and routines that no longer serve us. So you stay put. You don't take risks. You settle for less and you deserve because stepping out feels scary. But here's the brutal truth: comfort zones don't expand your potential. They shrink it and make your vision blurry, your goals distant, and your dreams just that, dreams. The comfort zone psychology is powerful, but if you want to grow, if you want real motivation for success, you've got to start by acknowledging how much it's holding you back. I'm not just talking theory here. I'm talking about that moment you realize you can't change your life by doing the same things over and over. You ask yourself, why can't I change my life? It's because you're living in a place that feels safe but is actually suffocating your personal development. I want you to know breaking free is not easy, but it's necessary if you want to rewrite your story. Now imagine this. Every day you spend inside your comfort zone is a day you lose to fear, to procrastination, to the quiet voice inside telling you maybe tomorrow. But here's what most people don't realize. The only way to develop a success mindset is to embrace that discomfort, to stare it in the face, lean into it, and move forward anyway. That's how real growth happens. That's how self-improvement begins. Later in this video, I'm going to share something crucial about how small, deliberate actions can start shifting your entire mindset from stuck to unstoppable. It's a little secret that changes everything once you get it right. So keep listening, because this isn't just motivation, it's a wake-up call. The brutal truth about your comfort zone is tough to swallow, but it's the medicine you need to break free. So let's dive deeper into this comfort zone psychology and why it's such a trap. When you stay comfortable, your brain is actually in survival mode. It's trying to protect you from threats, real or imagined. This means every time you think about stepping outside that bubble, your mind floods you with doubts, fears, and excuses. It's telling you, stay here. It's safe. But safe doesn't mean successful. It just means familiar. Here's something a lot of people miss. Personal development is not about waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. Motivation for success is born from action. It's created when you push past that mental resistance, when you do things you didn't think you could do. That's when your comfort zone starts to crumble. Let me give you an example from real life, not some celebrity you hear about every day, but ordinary people who flip the script by refusing to stay stuck. Think about J.K. Rowling. Before she became a world-famous author, she was broke, depressed, and struggling to survive. Her comfort zone was the pain of that struggle, but she chose to leave it behind and write anyway. It wasn't easy. It wasn't comfortable. But her breakthrough didn't happen inside her comfort zone. It happened when she dared to move beyond it. And that's exactly the lesson here. Success mindset is built by uncomfortable steps taken daily. It's about learning how to get out of comfort zone traps one small step at a time. You don't have to make giant leaps. You just have to start moving forward. Now, I want you to think about your own life. What are you holding on to that's keeping you stuck? Is it a job that drains your soul but pays the bills? Is it fear of judgment from others? Or maybe it's the voice inside your head telling you, I can't change my life because I'm not ready. Listen, the only thing you're not ready for is the disappointment of never trying. Here's a motivation for success you need to hear. Your biggest enemy is not the world outside. It's the voice inside that convinces you that comfort is king. Self-improvement doesn't come from staying still. It comes from wrestling with discomfort and coming out stronger. You know, sometimes I think about the athletes who became champions not because they were born talented, but because they refused to stay comfortable with where they were. Think about Michael Jordan. The man was cut from his high school basketball team. That could have been his end, but instead, he used that failure to fuel himself. He stepped outside his comfort zone every day, whether it was in practice, in his mindset, or in pushing his limits. That's the kind of relentless attitude you need, the kind that doesn't settle for excuses or the easy way out. It's about understanding that discomfort is the price you pay for personal growth and ultimate success. It's about rewiring your brain to see discomfort not as pain, but as a signal you're on the right track. This journey, the one towards self-improvement, requires a shift in how you think about failure, about pain, about progress. Because when you stay in your comfort zone, you're not just avoiding pain, you're missing out on the extraordinary. The people who transform their lives, who break free, they do it because they embrace the grind. They keep going when most would quit. And here's a little secret that most people overlook. Changing your life is a mindset game first. If you want to change your life, you have to change your mind first. That means challenging your limiting beliefs. It means rewriting the story you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. In a moment, I'll share some practical ways to start that mindset shift. But first, you have to recognize that your comfort zone is a lie. It's a trap disguised as safety. You're better than it. Your dreams are bigger than it. But only if you choose to be uncomfortable for a little while, so you can grow for a lifetime. Now, I want to talk about what happens when you finally start pushing past that comfort zone. It's not magic. It's not some sudden explosion of success. It's a process, and it's messy. It's uncomfortable. And that's exactly why most people quit before they see the breakthrough. But the truth is, the discomfort you feel is the signal your life is changing for the better. Think about the psychology behind personal development. When you stretch yourself, your brain forms new connections. It rewires itself to handle bigger challenges, tougher setbacks, and more complex problems. This is how motivation for success grows inside you. It's like building a muscle. You don't get stronger by staying on the couch. You get stronger by pushing against resistance. I want to share with you another real example of someone who refused to stay comfortable. Consider Richard Branson. The man behind Virgin wasn't handed success on a silver platter. He struggled, failed, and faced countless setbacks. But what made him different was his willingness to take risks and get out of his comfort zone repeatedly. That's how you get out of comfort zone paralysis, by showing up every day, ready to face the unknown, ready to fail and learn. Maybe you're watching this and thinking, yeah, but how do I start? How do I actually make that first move when everything inside me screams to stay safe? The answer lies in small habits. Self-improvement is not about one big leap. It's about 100 tiny steps that build momentum. Start by changing your morning routine. Start by setting one goal that scares you just a little. These small wins create the foundation for bigger changes. Another thing you need to understand is that your environment plays a huge role in this. If you surround yourself with people who encourage comfort and complain about change, guess what? You'll stay stuck. Success mindset is contagious, and so is stagnation. That's why personal development isn't just internal work, it's also about choosing the right circle, the right influences, and the right energy, I want to address one more thing here: the fear of judgment. It's one of the biggest reasons people don't change. They worry about what others think if they fail, or if they look foolish trying something new. But here's a little truth for you: the people who matter in your journey won't judge you for trying. And the people who do judge, their opinions aren't worth your energy. Real growth comes when you stop caring about the noise and start listening to your own inner voice. This is why motivation for success isn't about luck or talent, it's about mindset. It's about building emotional resilience to handle discomfort and uncertainty. The more you practice, the more you'll notice that what once seemed impossible becomes possible. You'll hear that little voice inside shift from "I can't" to "I'm learning." And that's progress. So when you think about why you can't change your life, ask yourself, am I ready to be uncomfortable? Am I ready to let go of what's safe but limiting? Because that's the crossroads you face. And I promise you, if you choose discomfort now, your future self will thank you. Remember, personal development is a journey, not a destination. The brutal truth about your comfort zone is that it's holding you back, but only if you let it. You have the power to rewrite your story every day by deciding to move forward, even when it's tough. Now that we've talked about the mindset shift and the power of small steps, let's explore what real change looks like when you commit to breaking free from your comfort zone. This is where most people get stuck. They hear the motivation, feel inspired for a moment, and then retreat back to what's familiar because the journey looks too hard. But the brutal truth is, the journey to self-improvement isn't always glamorous. It's often filled with setbacks, frustration, and moments of doubt. That's why having a success mindset means learning to embrace the struggle. It means understanding that every failure, every rejection, every uncomfortable moment is actually a sign that you're growing. The discomfort is not the enemy, it's the signal that you're moving forward. This perspective is what separates people who get results from those who stay stuck asking, why can I change my life? Think about someone like Elon Musk. He faced incredible challenges building companies like Tesla and SpaceX. He was criticized, doubted, and faced near bankruptcy multiple times. Yet, his comfort zone was always shrinking because he chose to step into the unknown and tackle problems others wouldn't even dare to face. That's the courage the courage to be uncomfortable. Let's get real for a moment. Comfort zones are seductive because they promise ease, but they rob you of your potential. The longer you stay in them, the smaller your dreams become. The more you convince yourself this is enough, the more you settle for a life less than what you were meant to live. And if you don't challenge that, time will pass and you'll realize you wasted years waiting for change instead of creating it. So, how do you get out of this cycle? First, recognize the patterns. What triggers your retreat into comfort? Is it stress, fear? Maybe it's even boredom disguised as safety. When you can identify these triggers, you can begin to respond differently. Instead of running back to safety, you lean in. You acknowledge the discomfort and decide to act anyway. The next step is accountability. You can't do this alone. Find people who push you, who challenge you, who don't let you settle for less. Sometimes the people closest to you will resist your growth because it threatens their own comfort zones. That's why surrounding yourself with the right influences is critical for your personal development. I want to remind you that motivation for success is not a constant feeling. It ebbs and flows. There will be days when you want to quit. When that happens, remember why you started. Remember the vision you have for your life, the dreams that keep you up at night. Your comfort zone is comfortable, but your dreams demand discomfort. Now, it's easy to look at success stories and think, they're special. They had something I don't. But the truth is, every successful person you admire has one thing in common: they refuse to stay comfortable. They committed to a process of daily self-improvement, no matter how hard it got. That commitment is your blueprint. Before I move on, I want to share a quiet truth. Sometimes breaking free means saying no. Saying no to habits, relationships, and mindsets that keep you stuck. It's painful. It's lonely, but it's necessary because growth requires space to breathe and room to expand. When you start clearing that space, you create the conditions for a new life to emerge. Keep that in mind as you listen to the rest of this video. There's more ahead that will help you take these ideas from theory into action. But right now, just hold on to this. The brutal truth about your comfort zone isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up. And now, let's get real about what it means to truly break free from your comfort zone and start living the life you deserve. This is where it all comes together. The struggle, the mindset, the small steps they led to something bigger than you can imagine. But it takes patience, persistence, and a deep belief in yourself to make it last. See, personal development isn't just about changing your circumstances. It's about transforming who you are at your core. When you decide to push past comfort, you begin to rewrite your story, the story you tell yourself about what's possible, what you deserve, and who you are. That's where real self-improvement happens, not in quick fixes or temporary bursts of motivation, but in the steady commitment to growth, no matter how slow or painful it feels. The brutal truth about your comfort zone is that it's comfortable for a reason. It's where your fears and doubts live. But here's the good news. Those fears don't own you own them. And every time you face those fears, you shrink their power over you. You build emotional resilience, and that resilience is the foundation of a success mindset. Think about people who change their lives completely, not just famous names, but everyday heroes. Like that friend or a family member who decided one day enough was enough. They started small, but kept going. They didn't wait for motivation to magically appear. They created it through action. They embraced discomfort, took risks, and sometimes failed. But each failure was a lesson, not a defeat. Your journey is no different. The moment you accept discomfort as part of your growth is the moment you stop being a prisoner of your comfort zone. And this doesn't mean you have to be reckless. It means being brave enough to face the unknown, to risk failure, and to keep moving forward even when it's hard. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that change has to be fast. But real transformation is slow and steady. It's the daily decisions, waking up early, pushing through fear, choosing progress over perfection that build momentum. And momentum is everything. Once it starts, it's hard to stop. That's the power of a success mindset. Now, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what's one uncomfortable thing you can do today that your future self will thank you for? Maybe it's having that difficult conversation. Maybe it's applying for that job or starting that project you've been putting off. Whatever it is, start there. Because breaking free from your comfort zone is not about giant leaps, it's about consistent, courageous steps. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you of something important. The journey you're on is not just about you. When you grow, you inspire others. When you break free, you give permission to the people around you to do the same. Your growth becomes a beacon for those stuck in their own comfort zones. That's why your personal development is more than a personal victory. It's a ripple effect that changes communities, families, even generations. So here's the final truth. Your comfort zone might feel like home, but it's not where your greatness lies. Your greatness lives beyond those walls, waiting for you to break through. You have everything you need inside to do it. This starts with the decision to be uncomfortable, to be brave, and to keep moving forward no matter what. If you're ready to take that step, remember this video, this moment. Come back to it when you feel doubt creeping in. Let it remind you that your comfort zone is a lie and that the real life you want is just on the other side. We are wisdom recorded your knowledge source. If you found value in this, subscribe and like for more content that fuels your growth and lights your path. Because your journey to success is just beginning, and we'll be here with you every step of the way.